It's announcement time once again for the Federal Reserve, and it's no surprise that all eyes will be on its chief Ben Bernanke this evening. When he last appeared in the spotlight, it was Jackson Hole in the US, where he was pushed into a tight corner on the subject of QE3. Today we've seen an entire day of US-led related announcements, including a higher than expected PPI release, and of course there's the speech this evening. Well, with me on the line to examine the day's events is Luca Giusti, Head of Research and Development at QTLab in Switzerland. Luca, thanks very much for joining me today. Some analysts seem to think the Fed will signal further QE, but shouldn't we be focusing more on how Ben Bernanke will deliver further easing as opposed to if he will?
It's a good question. We are waiting for first the Federal Open Market Committee statement this afternoon, but mostly for Bernanke's speech tonight. It seems that markets are looking for some new hints of this quantitative easing, but I'm not buying the rumor that tonight Ben will say when and how much. In my opinion, he will take some more time, but we will not have this kind of information tonight. We got election in a few weeks, and the stock markets are making new highs. Okay, labor market is not improving as expected, but I think that tonight he will take some more time, and he won't disclose the when and the how much details about the new quantitative easing.
Is this the beginning of a wind down of Operation Twist, and instead perhaps paving the way for much larger QE?
Well, it seems so, but I'm not sure about the details. I think that we have to wait some more hints from Mr. Bernanke. And it's not easy to say what kind of measure he's going to take.
Now, whilst markets are waiting for Ben Bernanke to tell us the latest on what the Fed has in store, how are you planning on trading, Luca?
Well, usually I don't trade before market data. I prefer waiting after market data. I mean, my kind of trading is a mechanical trading. So usually after market data, we can observe a huge overreaction, and sometimes we can observe some currencies that decouple. I mean, if you observe euro and British pound, or Australian and Canadian, or New Zealand, you can observe that after this kind of data, they tend to decouple and to start a new trend. So what I trade is the tax cross between these kind of currencies, and I try to trade the recoupling. So it's a convergence trading, and with trading system, with a mechanical way of trading, well, it works pretty well. So I'm waiting for the data, but to trade after the data. I usually don't take position before this data. I think if I observe euro against dollar, I see that 130 is a quite easy target today. So maybe we would observe some kind of rally movement to take 130. But well, in a few days or a few weeks, I think that we will observe euro against in area 126 more or less. So I think that market has discounted in the last days some really positive factor, the German court decision, the Draghi speech, and but they have discounted all this positive factor in this rally, and now they need action. They need to see action, but others think that in Europe are ready to take action. So I think they must be prepared to see a new correction.
Finally, do you think the Fed will tie any of this to the state of the US economy as well as its labour market?
Well, the labour market is not improving as expected, so this could be a key driver in Fed decision. Also, the producer price index just released a couple of moments ago showed an increase more than analysts forecast. It's up 1.7% instead of 1.1%, so is an unexpected increase. But I think that now the level of inflation is not a real concern for the Fed. It's the growth, the real concern for the Fed, and so maybe I think that the not improving labor market and the under control inflation will take to a new quantitative easing, but not now. Probably next year, but not in a few months.
Thanks, Luca. Well, that's all we've got time for. Don't forget to keep checking back for the latest updates and exclusive interviews here on Dukascopy TV. I'll be back tomorrow with a look at commodities. Until then, goodbye.